Hello, how you guys doing today? We are glad you're here for another awesome and great time. We are here, Mary and myself are with Juanita, and we are honored to have her with us today.
Absolutely. Juanita, we are so glad that you could be our special guest tonight. And we're so excited about the topic that you've chosen.
Thank you, Mary and David. It's truly such a blessing to be able to be here with the both of you.
Today we're going to be talking about when disaster hits. How do you pull through it? But before we get into that, I want to let everybody know real quickly. If you want to chat, we want those engagements. YouTube has changed a few things around. So you do have to be logged in. You do have to subscribe to the channel. You have to be a subscriber and logged in. And then you have to have been here 1 day. So I don't know if that makes a difference here, but make sure you subscribe and you log in. And then if you can't post today, you will be able to post next week. But we do want engagements. So as we're searching this out, as we're figuring things out, and cool, we do have somebody that's in. I know last week he was not able to post, so
Okay,
we're on top of it now.
perfect. All right.
Um, so I'm just gonna make that announcement each week so we can get the hang of it. So now let's dive into it. So disaster is striking me right now. Matter of fact, we're getting a thunderstorm tonight, which is a lot better than all the snow we've gotten. So when this thunderstorm happens, how do we pull through?
I would say that in every person's life, when they go through a disaster, every person is different. Um, every every situation is unique. Um, and so this isn't necessarily a one size fits all because every single person is truly different. I know for my family and me, in the last few years, it has just been a round of different struggles and hardships that has happened. Um, and like I said, every person gets them because we live in a fallen and sinful world. But one thing that is such a blessing, I know for myself, is how my husband and I have pulled through um, in leaning on each other, leaning on our faith, but at the same time, getting really, really raw when hardships have hit, when struggles have come, and I believe for myself, being able to face them head on. It's very easy nowadays to numb out, whether it's scrolling on your phone, whether it's binge watching. And I'm not saying that that is wrong to do every once in a while. But when you're really going through something hard, exactly, when you're really going through something hard, being able to just sit in it for a time, being able to get your community, your people around you to help pull you through is, I believe, truly essential. And that's where a lot of the change can happen in yourself and growth.
That is so true. Being able to verbalize what's going on lifts the heavy burden. Just when I was younger, I used to write.
Yeah.
If I was going through something, I would just write, and then I would feel so much better. I know a lot of people do the same thing. It's almost like, well, and now I journal, so same thing.
And
I'm just not young anymore.
sometimes you said the key thing, Mary. When we journal, when we get it off of our mind and
Yeah,
get it on
exactly.
paper, it relieves that stress, gets it off of us. And then
Yeah.
later we can look and be like, why was I thinking that? Then we realize it wasn't as bad as we thought it was.
Mhm.
Well, and it's being able to get it out. So, like you said, Mary, whether it's sharing with somebody or being
Mhm.
able to write it on paper,
Mhm.
a lot of times we will keep it within inside of ourselves and the anxiety will start to build up.
Mhm.
And so, even if it's just getting it out on paper, can relieve so much stress. And then since it's on paper, you can go back to it later,
Mhm.
which is also great. I know sometimes people say journaling, I don't have time for it. But when you talk to people who can be very how do I put this, level-headed, where when you talk to them and they don't have a lot of stress in their lives,
Mhm.
um, it's pretty cool because a high percentage rate are those are people who actually do journal.
Mhm.
They actually do take some time and writing down. It doesn't even necessarily have to be every day I need to write a whole chapter. It could
Right.
just be a page, a half a page. But it's pretty cool to when you start looking at the statistics of that.
True. There's been times when I've gotten into my journaling. I have a whole morning routine, and journaling was a part of it, and then it wasn't a part of it. Now it's become a part of it again. And I'm thinking I'll just write down this little bitty thing, get it off my chest. 3 pages later, I'm like, holy cow! I guess I really needed to get something out of me. But I felt that,
Mhm.
and
And,
that's so important.
speaking of journaling, sometimes when we're out, we got to get something off of our chest. But yet, we don't have pencil and paper sitting around for us to actually be able to start jotting down.
I yell
So
at my phone.
that's what I was going to say. Press the voice and speak into it, make a
Yep.
voice note, and then it translate it for you, and then you can plop it onto paper later.
When I was younger, and I was like really going through something, I would write it and then burn it, and then it was gone. And that was so freeing. I don't know if anybody, I'm sure other people, I'm not the only one. I'm sure other people do that too. But
Well,
for me, that was really freeing.
when I was out in the country down in Tennessee, I burned a lot of stuff. And I would do that as well, because it does write it down and then burn it so nobody else can see it.
Hmm.
Because you lock it up somewhere, somebody can get it eventually.
Right.
When you pass, they're going to look through all your private stuff and, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I didn't realize this. Not when you burn it.
Right.
You get it off your chest and then you don't really need it no more. All it does is bring
Mhm.
stress, so get rid of it.
That's true. We all don't need any more of that.
Hmm.
That's for sure.
What kind of other things do you do, Juanita?
So journaling is not one that I actually do on a daily basis. We have three little kiddos, and so
How can you?
well, I definitely could if I made it a priority. So that would be a choice on me. So I do put that on myself. But one thing for me is working out. That is
Mm.
something that is so essential. I like to tell people is that working out is like therapy for myself. And
Right.
I've worked out for so many years that now it is to be able to stay in shape and to be toned and all of that. But now it's just more for mental health.
Hmm.
So when I am not able to work out every day or every other day, depending on the busyness of life, um, I definitely feel it
Yeah.
compared to and I love sharing with people when it comes to exercising. It doesn't have to be, of course, this CrossFit heavy weights kind of thing. It could
Yeah.
just be going for a walk.
Mhm.
And we as it's funny because as I knew that I would be speaking with you guys, and I have notes here for myself of certain dates and stuff if you wanted to get into, of course, tragedy and different things. But just this last week, it's actually amazing. Something else came to light that has definitely threw us off. You could say that's for sure. And so, just going today for a walk. We live in Illinois, and so the change of weather has
Mhm.
finally hit. And today got up into the 60s. And so I went with the kiddos. We went for a long walk. We got home, stayed outside for another hour, and just feeling the sunshine, feeling the fresh air.
Nice.
It literally it's phenomenal on how it can really change whether it's your mood, calmness,
Hmm.
and so that's one thing I really love encouraging others is to get moving. You can go into the science part of it about like dopamine levels and all of
Sure.
that,
Right.
but how I've never heard one person say that I don't feel better after I do some form of movement.
Hmm.
And so that's something that's very high on our priority list. And then some other ways too is having that open communication and people who are truly so close and dear to my heart. As I like to say, people who have a vote in my life is essential, um, because we're not made to be alone. We're made to have community. We're made to walk with others, not only through excitement and joys, but through trials and tribulation and hardships. So, yeah, those are some other things too that I can keep going if you would like, but those are just a few other things that are really big for myself.
And I know one thing, um, for a lot of people starting to go through it now, um, when you're going through those storms, I know meditation, like the monks do it very well. They can get through just about anything through meditation. And then you have different types of meditation. Um, you have Indians. They have, the phenomenal thing about like the rain dance. They do a rain dance and it rains every single time. It's the things that you do with your mind. And so for a lot of the people, starting to do what's called PQ, positive intelligence. It's a type of redirecting your mind. And that's what it's all about, is changing your mindset. When the disaster happens, how can you look past the disaster? Look on the other side of it. And that's why I loved your topic, getting you through, because when you look on the other side, you pull yourself to the other side because you're looking over there. When I was first learning how to drive, um, it was funny because they said, you look in the center of the road and that's where your car is going to go. So I'm looking in the center, but I'm looking as far away as I can. And I'm missing what's in front of me. And they're like, don't look so far away, look close. Because I'm missing
Overachiever.
because I'm missing things that's happening right in front of me and I'm not seeing it because I'm looking way over there. Well, when we're trying to get through the storm, we want to do that. Look ahead and pull ourselves through because a lot of people say, I can't get through this. This is too tough. This is
Mhm.
rough. Well, if you see the other side, you don't see what it's going to take to get through it. You just get through it.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, and I'd love to share one thing too about that, David, which what you're saying is true, is really so true. But at the same time, sometimes we don't have the strength to look ahead. Sometimes we're in such a hard spot that whether it's fear, hardships, hurt, we're just trying to get through that day.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the biggest things for me that hits home so much is being able to ask yourself, but also challenge yourself, is what's something that I can do or need to do to make sure that I'm well.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
We live in
So
a
true.
society where it's go, 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 and
Mhm.
we give to everyone. Which we could also talk about setting up boundaries too, which is also good and essential.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always giving, and a lot of times we get to the end of the week and we're utterly exhausted. We're fried, and sometimes we don't even do one thing for ourselves that week to make sure that we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let alone fast forward, you're in a storm and this storm has been lasting a long time and you're utterly exhausted too. It's being able to, even if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, even though you can't see through the storm, um, being able to say, okay, for right now, for today, what's one thing that I can do for myself to be well? And that is not selfish to say
Nope.
that. As they say, like for a plane, it's like as parents, you got to put your own oxygen mask on to be
Right.
able to be there for your kiddos.
Mm-hmm.
As a mom of three, and my kids are 5 and under. So when I say I have 3 tornadoes in my house 24/7, it is true. Um, but there are times where there's some kiddos crying or screaming, and it's like I need to pause for a moment to make sure that I'm okay, that mom keeps her cool. And if that means I need to lock myself in the bathroom for 5 minutes, then that's what I need to do. Making sure, letting everybody know, making sure that they're okay and
Oh,
safe.
sure, exactly.
Okay. But yes, that's also something, because that is something that I did experience through one of our tragedies, was just trying to get through an hour at a time, the next moment at a time. And so being able to prioritize and just put my head down for a moment to say, okay, what do I need to do? What's the top priority? But also keeping in mind what's one thing that I need to do to make sure that I'm okay to get our family through this next step.
I think that is so important because we as women and moms, we always put ourselves last. Everybody else is first. And because we feel that guilt, we are supposed to be the nurturers. And if we take care of ourselves, what's going to happen to everybody else? They're probably going to be fine, but we don't know.
And that's generally how most mothers are. I know a
Yep.
couple that aren't like that, but most mothers, because you carry the baby for 9 months,
Mhm.
and in that time, you get real attached to that wonderful person,
Yeah.
you know? And so, that thing is there. But I love, Juanita, how you said it's about, give, 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 right? I know this one guy, he was pushed into a lion's den, and he ended up falling asleep. He's like, well, these hungry lions can't touch me. Good night. He's seen that he was going to get out. He didn't know when or anything like that, but he knew he was going to get out. And then when people came and rescued him out, they were like, wow, you made it through the lion's den? I slept, you know?
Talk about having a sense of peace within, like you
Within the
said,
storm.
that mindset.
Yeah. Looking through, seeing the other side, even when we can't grab, what's currently going on. Um, Sometimes we can use our own testimonies.
Yeah.
Sometimes we use somebody else's testimonies
Hmm.
until we get our own. But our own testimonies are always going to be more powerful.
True.
Um,
True.
there was one guy, I did this, and I can do this too. So we build those testimonies to give us our strength. Well, I don't have the testimony yet, but Mary does, and Juanita does. So I'm going to use what Mary did and what Juanita did until I get my own story. Or it's like, I did this, and I can handle that too, you know?
For
That
sure.
is so true. And we do. We all come up with, when we reflect, a lot of this reflection turns into a testimony because you're like, oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
And then become a testimony.
Yep. Turn the mess into a message, your test into
Hmm.
a testimony,
Hmm.
lemon into a lemonade. We got all those
Well,
corny sayings.
that's like the saying, and I might mess this up, but where a man with an experience isn't at the mercy with a man with an opinion.
Right.
That's kind of like the same thing as the experiences that we have through life, um, whether good, bad, whether wonderful or hardships, whatever that might be. It forms us to make us also who we are, and that
Hmm.
we're able to take that going forward in life.
Yeah. I remember my daughter and I, my oldest and I were talking one time, and she said, Mom, do you ever regret marrying Dad? I married her father, and then we got divorced, and I'm married to my last husband. And she said, do you ever regret marrying my dad? And I said, mm-mm. She goes, but I understand it wasn't good for you. I said, it wasn't good for me, but if I hadn't married him, I wouldn't have you. So I
Hmm.
wouldn't give it up for anything.
I love that.
And
Well,
she's like, oh,
that's where too, just like childhood
yeah.
hurts, you could say. I think everybody, especially if you're an adult and you're looking back at your teenage years, the rebellion with parents,
Oof.
the hardships, the whether they're screaming matches, slamming doors, whatever that might be, driving off in your car when you're a teen. There are some pretty, whether the scale could be like, oh, I went through some stuff, to I went through some massive, hurts and things. um but that's where there's, at least for me, when I look back at my life, and when I love being able to ask people that question, that is there things that you went through as a teen, through that rebellious state, you could say, that you, if you could change it, would you? And literally 99% of the time, and this is myself included, is I did some pretty stupid stuff growing up, but I wouldn't change it, because I
Mhm.
learned from it. I grew from it, and it made me part of who I am today.
Right.
And that if I can encourage or help or challenge one person to say, hey, I've been down that road, I've done
Mhm.
that. And trust me, it does, you come out more battered and bruised on the other end. But if you're able to help even one person through that, is such a blessing.
Mm. So true. So true. The stories that we can tell and the stories that we shouldn't tell.
I told you I'd have to kill you.
Okay. Do you know who I am?
I do.
He
Well,
does too.
this is one lady, I just got to say, this is one lady that has the skill to take you out, to bring you back, just to take you
Mhm.
out again, to bring you
Mhm.
back.
Mhm.
So if you want to get tortured, she
Mhm.
can keep bringing you back so she can torture you more. So don't get on her wrong side. She's the one that shocks your finances into order, but she can shock more than just your finances.
Hey, Mary, you'll have to teach me some of those skills, please.
It comes from 30 years of being a nurse, baby.
I like it.
And that's why she's the money coach RN.
I tell my husband, I said, we all have our talents. I said, anything mechanical, I delegate to you. But I recommend that if you want your heart restarted, you get to me. And he's like, okay. And if you don't, life insurance is paid up. What has been the hardest thing for you, Juanita?
Mm. Um, I would say for myself, the hardest thing that I have gone through was in 2024. My husband and I, we were pregnant with our third baby.
Mhm.
Um, we were having a home birth, actually, our first one that we were actually going to have a home birth for. And as we were about like a week out from my due date. My husband ended up getting sick. He ended up getting severely sick.
Mhm.
And if you guys met my husband Cody, he never gets sick. Um, if he does, it's like a 24-hour thing and he's done. For I'm the one who's like sprawled out on the couch for 2 weeks, just like, you know, bad. But my husband Cody, he never gets sick. But this time around it was a little different. And he had a very high fever. Fever started lasting a few days, and I can just see that something was severely wrong. Um, well, as I'm very pregnant, as I've shared, um, he just continued to get worse every single day. And we went to a couple different doctors, and he kept getting misdiagnosed. One doctor even tested a few things and is like, "You don't have this, so just go home. You still have a fever. In 5 days, come back." And when I say that, it's like when he came back with my sister, I was so upset. And I'm like, I'm a 9-month pregnant woman. I'm going to march up to that doctor and give him a piece of my mind, kind of thing. Because you don't want to upset a pregnant lady. Um, but then finding another doctor too, and they did give us a diagnosis. and that stopped us dead in the tracks, basically. Um, they said it was a certain cancer and a fast moving one, and then he had to go to a whole bunch of other testing, but they weren't even for sure. And so it literally got to the point where I was like, throughout this whole week, now we're on to the second week, I'm staying up so late trying to find different things to try to help save my husband his life. And I just constantly kept praying, saying, Lord, please, please let my husband survive this. Let my husband survive this. And I can see every single day my husband just withering away more and more on the couch. And it got to the point where I literally was, instead of praying and asking God to save my husband, it was, Lord, please help me to be present every single second that I have here on this earth with him. Because seeing and knowing how my husband is, it's like we only have a few days. That's where we were at. And then it got to the point where I said, I'm taking you to the hospital in Madison, because we live in Rockford, but we're going to Madison, and I'm going to be there with you until we find out what actually you have. And so we went, and praise God, it wasn't a certain cancer. He had a very specific pneumonia. And so with just being a few days there, we started seeing massive improvements. And so that was truly such an unbelievable blessing. One thing though, with myself though, being a financial coach, I love being able to share this story with others, because through the whole time of him being sick, being in the hospital, that I was just like right next to him while he's has oxygen and he's trying to rest, and I just have tears just streaming down my face. Um, Not once did I think about finances. Not once was I worried about finances. Of course, did I have a high level of stress because of my husband and where he was at. Um, but that being such a blessing, because we set up certain things that I know that if he did go financially, we'll be okay. So having that peace was truly such a blessing. But the hardship of knowing that pretty soon here I'm going to be a single mom of three, was really like the hardest thing that I've ever have gone through. And praise God, my husband did recover from that. We were able to come home, and the next day our daughter was born. The midwife didn't even make it. My husband actually caught her, our baby girl. And so the blessing through that has just been remarkable. But looking back on it, and even to this day, knowing what happened and what we went through, is truly the hardest thing, the ground shifting in my life.
Absolutely. But what a testimony that you knew that you didn't have to think about that. My nephew called us the other night. I coach he and my niece, and he's like, yeah, Katie just had her gallbladder taken out. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, I had to go back to work. So my brother, her dad, went and stayed with her while he went back to work. I said, I'm sorry I didn't answer. We're in Nashville. So then he calls me. He goes, that's my route, because he drives for UPS. So his route is like South Haven, Mississippi to Nashville in one night. And he's like, I just had to call you. I'm like, okay. And that is the beauty of having a good plan. Because I know that that's the reason he had to go back to work.
Yeah.
He didn't want to. He goes, but I already took 2 days off. And my niece doesn't work. So, because they're raising babies. So he's like, oh, the power of the plan. The power of the plan. Having that safety net is so important. And we all know that being coaches, but that is such an important lesson to try to teach other people.
For sure. because of the stress that you're under just alone in a situation when you're at a hospital,
Right.
um, is so traumatic. If we were to share like tons of details, it's like I could
Mhm.
just start break down and start crying because the memories are so vivid. And anyone, especially nowadays with sickness and what people go through,
Mhm.
hospitals are full of patients, and it's just utterly heartbreaking. And so to have all of that stress, all of that strain, all the fear of your loved one being sick,
Mhm.
or if they are able to recover, um, let alone you pile on top of that now, oh, how much is this going to cost? Where is this going to put me? Um, it's utterly heartbreaking.
Oh,
I've heard
absolutely.
stories how someone, a loved one, passes away, and it's not an extended family member, it's their spouse that passed away. And 4 days later, they had to go to work. They didn't even have a week off, 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
4 days later.
Working.
I share with people that um, if my husband ever were to pass away, it would take me a good 6 months just to learn how to breathe again, just to
Absolutely.
breathe again without my husband. Um, and so I can't even imagine, and I know I can feel the heartbreak for others where they have to go to work so quickly because of their financial situation, and it's heartbreaking.
It is very heartbreaking. Power of the plan. What do you love most about coaching?
um, Truth be told, what I love most about coaching is being able to sit with others in whatever situation they're in,
Mhm.
whether it's over video, whether it's in person, being able to sit with them um, in their joy, their hardships, their grief. There are times where I will hear stories where people are sharing things and there is nothing to say. There's tears on both sides of the screen. And it's like, I can't, there's nothing that I could say to help in this situation, but it's being able to share with them. It's that I'm going to sit in this with you.
I'm just going to sit with
We'll figure this out together,
you.
and you don't have to do this alone. And so that's one of the I like to share where it's like I tell people I love what I do. It is such a blessing that I get to do what I do, and I wouldn't choose something else. But being able to sit with others is is truly the biggest thing that I love most.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. And a very, very close second is seeing the deep transformational change
Mm.
within them. Those I would say actually, the more I could talk about that, those are just the first two back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Is seeing within them how through coaching, through their life, through their experiences, the deep transformational change that they have within. And also realizing that's like, I don't have to live life this way. There's a different way that I can live. And it's not because, Coach Juanita says to live this way. It's not my job to tell them this is the best way because every person is different. Every situation is different. Um, but in being able to have those deep conversations with others and asking those hard questions, and then being able to make the right and best choices for them and their families is oh, I get all fired up and excited just thinking about it.
There's just nothing like it. When you feel that transformation and you feel like they've got it, and seeing that change in someone else and seeing how they are going to start being able to take care of themselves is so heartwarming.
It is.
It's right. You get all fired up. How could you not?
Right.
And the thing that I love, and I'm sure you can attest to this, is it's never a dull moment. There's no two situations at the same. So where a lot of people get stuck in their job and they're in the same routine, they do the same thing day in, day out. Eventually they get bored.
Mhm.
Well, when you enjoy what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
Mhm.
I don't work. I enjoy what I do. I have fun.
I haven't worked for 30 years.
And I always joke with people. I don't really harass people, but I always say I get paid to harass people. You know?
I wouldn't say for myself I would go that far, but I love what you said. I would say more I get paid to challenge people
Mhm.
Hmm.
Absolutely. In a good way, for their benefit.
for sure.
Because once they get it, they're like, oh, oh,
Right. Because going back again on just with our topic, it's that hardships are going to come.
correct.
Challenges are going to come.
Mhm.
Do you mind if I talk a little bit more on that of just
Go
like a
ahead,
quick summary?
please.
Pull
So
us through.
so um so that happened with my husband happened in 2024 in June. I had to remember when my daughter was born in June. And then fast forward, not a year later, we had a huge storm that happened, and a tree fell in our house. Um, Praise God for insurance, but still. And so we were evicted from our house for 5 to 6 months.
Mm.
Couldn't live in our house. But yes, also this is summertime, so you still have all the responsibilities of your house unless you want your yard to look like a jungle, pretty much. Um, and so we weren't living at our house. We had all contractors constantly back and forth. And so it was rough because it was a lot, but it wasn't like suffocating for Cody and me because we just kept looking back and saying we have each other, and no matter where we're at, that's our home. And so where we were didn't end up working out, so we actually had to move within that time period to another place. And so we felt like we're on the move for a bit. And at the end of that 5 6 weeks, our daughter got sick, our baby. And within 1 week, we were at the hospital, 2 ERs, and then we were admitted. And we kind of had a same situation where I was just praying that the three of us would get out alive. Because for a time there, for our daughter, who was over a year, it was a little bit of touch and go because of how sick that she got, and she couldn't breathe on her own. Um, I don't remember one of the nurses, her name. So again, Mary, what you do as being a nurse, I can't thank you enough because she saw one of the worst of me. One of the nights where I was not at my best. I was losing it every which way, exhausted, up for 48 hours. And my daughter just still, she kept not being able to breathe. And then again, such a blessing we were able to get through that. And then we still had more house issues, but I shared with my husband, I'm like, as long as we're not in the hospital, if we're not in the hospital, that is the biggest thing.
Oh, kidding.
It's like it can always get worse. You can always be back in the hospital. And so we get through that. And then it is funny and ironic because everything that we went through the entire summer, it's like that is nothing compared to now our baby girl's in the hospital and she may not come out of here alive. And so we have that. And then fast forward another few months, you could say, to this year. And like I just shared, um, and I was contemplating and wondering if I should share this, but I want to because I want to be very open and honest, because I want others to know that it's like we continue to go through hardships and trials. Everyone does. And it's what kind of mindset are we going to have for it? So lately, my husband has just been feeling super tired again, and we just haven't known why. We knew that he had, like I said, that pneumonia a bit ago, and so he got retested, And it turns out he still has it. Fast forward a year and a half later, and there's still stuff in his system. And so if you guys saw me on Monday, I also was kind of losing it a little bit on Monday. Um, my husband was hugging me. We were dancing in the kitchen, because of the fear of what we went through before. And it does feel like we've just been hit with one thing after another, and that's okay. But just that hardship and fear of the unknown, what's going to happen. And so being able to, like when we shared earlier in our video, being able to share, sometimes we can't see what's on the other end. Sometimes we have no idea what's going to happen, because just with my husband, what happened before, imagining losing him and knowing that he still has the same sickness a year and a half later.
Wow.
And there's a little part of it, like the testimony, that just shows how fit that he is, that he's still pumping on almost all cylinders. It's still that fear though of like, okay, now what's the next steps? And so there are steps to take, and it's things to be able to prioritize, which is good. But going back to that part of what do we need to do to make sure that we are well, to be able to go forward, prioritizing my husband, his health, our children, our family, and then going forward from there.
Holy cow, girl, you've been through it.
Our house, side note too, our house still isn't done. We're still fighting with insurance and contractors.
Oh my
So there
God.
is that part of it too. But like I said, when you put things into perspective, it's
Mhm.
like I could care less about the house right now, truly.
Right.
But yeah,
Lowest on the totem pole.
for sure.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah, I love your mindset. So even with um, everything that's coming at you, your mind has not drifted. You know, um, you're like, okay, well, at least it's not as bad as this. It could get worse. Well, the house, it's not as bad as the hospital, but you're not stressed over the house. You know, um, and even when your daughter was in the hospital, even though you were at pins and needles, you knew you were getting out.
mhm.
Nothing was getting you, nothing was pulling you off the track. It was making you jump a little bit, but nothing getting you off the track. You
For
know,
sure.
I love that.
Yeah,
Rocks come, but make sure that train stays on that track.
Hmm.
for sure. And there's times where I'd love to encourage people. There's times where you might have to stop. Give yourself grace. Yes, there's times we have to keep moving and keep doing things, that's for sure. But to give yourself grace to just sit in the pain, and then to be able to say, okay, what's next? What's next? Sometimes we feel like our life gets blown to pieces and all we have are the pieces. And so it's good to just sit in that, to be able to look at your situation, to reflect. That's another thing too that I encourage people a lot, to reflect on your situation, to take that moment in the quiet, but we don't like quiet. Um, so to sit in that, and then whatever time that might be, whether it's a person to say, okay, I'm going to sit in this for 30 minutes, an hour, for 3 days. I encourage people then to say, okay, now let's pick up those pieces and let's keep going. Because, David, like you said, if you have a vision of what you would like your life to be, you have a mission, you have a purpose, that doesn't change. Yes, it can shift in different ways. You thought, oh, this is going to be a straight, clear shot, and now it's a little crooked or it's a little wonky, and that's okay. Exactly. Um, and that's okay. But you can keep seeing that vision in the future to say, okay, it shifted or it moved, but we're going to continue now with these pieces, with these broken pieces, brokenness in myself. I'm going to continue going, and in time they will heal. We won't look the same, and we will have scars, and everybody has scars. Some people have deeper and some more gnarly scars than others, but we all have them. And so to be able to take what we've learned and Lord willing to grow from it, to keep moving forward and pushing forward.
The key there, I think, is balance, because we do push and push and push and push. But you do is necessary to balance that and do stop and do reflect. A lot of people won't do that. I'm very hard headed, and sometimes it's hard for me to stop. I do that. I go, 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 go. And like another mom, I know, we don't stop and we don't do anything for us. And I've done that to my clients. What have you done for you lately? Or sometimes it's like, tell me just one thing that happened that was good today. Just one. And when they have trouble, I'm like, did you get to wake up this morning? And they're like, oh yeah.
Mhm.
Just the littlest thing. Because then it builds. When you look for the positive, you find more of it.
Mhm. And going back to journaling, you don't even have to do that full page journal like we were talking about, but even doing like a gratitude journal of
Yeah.
just saying, I'm going to write 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have to start off with one, and that's
Right.
okay.
Right.
But whether it's 1 or 3 things of what I'm grateful for. And there are times where we feel like I have nothing to be grateful for.
Right.
And I do not judge people who are in that situation because, like I said, everybody is hurting everywhere. Um, but if someone's able to get to the point of saying, even if it's the smallest things of like you said, Mary, I woke up today. I may
Mm-hmm.
not be in a great mood. I
Mm-hmm.
might be a little cranky. I might be hobbling, to go to work or to the bathroom first thing in the morning. But I woke up today, and think about how many people who didn't wake up this morning. Or, hey, I got 2 legs that I can walk.
Mm-hmm.
May not be where I'd like to be physically, but I'm able to walk. Um, and it's those little things that when someone's able to start doing that and writing those down, and you can keep it by your bed. I encourage people that if that's something that they're struggling with, in whether it's hardships or depression, or loneliness, it's being able to keep that journal by your bed, and at the end of every day, try to write 1 to 3 things that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when someone starts doing it. I'll start getting emails or texts saying, I thought of 10 things, and it
Mm-hmm.
came so easily and natural for me. I had one lady who I actually shared with me one time. She said, I ended up writing 20 things. Is that okay? I know you said only 3 things. And I told her, I was like, my dear, that is wonderful. That
Yeah,
is
no kidding.
absolutely wonderful. I'm like,
Right.
no, if you end up writing 100 things, that's okay. Because she was able to start to see as that number grew within herself, and it came so natural. She didn't have to really ponder and think. She said within, a few months, she's like, I can tell that I'm happier. I can tell that I'm changing. People around me have asked me, what am I doing? And she's like, I'm just writing 3 things in my journal of what I'm grateful for.
Like when you get a different vehicle. You didn't say that vehicle before, but now that you have one, they're all over.
Yes.
And they're like, there wasn't this many of them before. Yeah, there was. But it's the things that you begin to look for and not even look for, they show up.
For sure.
Yeah, your eyes are opened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Things become familiar.
Well, one thing I always like to say, and Mary can contest to this, um, but when our heart beats, um, it looks like that.
That's VTech. We don't want that.
So does our life. There's ups and downs. It constantly goes back and forth. We got to take the ups with the downs, pull them back up, the hills and the valleys. In the
Mhm.
valley, we can pull through, and in the mountains, we celebrate. And when we're back in the valley, we can pull through, and then we celebrate. You know, um, and it's key that no matter what we do, we pull ourselves through and stay in that mode.
Right.
However we do it.
Hmm.
One of the coaches that I really love, um, he was helping somebody out, and when it was the big day to run his race, he wasn't at the beginning. And the guy's like, "Where's my coach? Where's the guy that's supporting me?" Wasn't around. So the guy decides to run anyhow, and he's like, "Well, we'll see how far I get because I probably won't finish. I don't have my support. I'm not going to be finishing it." He's running the race. Just as he's about to give up, he's had enough. I'm tired. I'm done. Nobody's here to support me. All of a sudden, he sees his coach. Keep going. Gave him all the energy. He finished the race. I
Right.
think he came in second or third or something like that.
Right.
But he was just about to give up.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, that's where his coach was. His coach was exactly where he needed him, exactly when he needed him.
Right.
It's what you need to pull you through.
Hmm. That's absolutely
Some
true.
people have the faith that they can hold on, that they can see the other side, and they can pull themselves through. Well, no matter what, you can't touch me. I'm going to have the victory through this. And even if you can, you can't hurt me. And even if you do, that just means I get to go home quicker. No matter what, you can't affect that person. If you have an attitude that you can see the other side, well, I already know. Um, I'm going to use you and I'm going to add to your story, Juanita.
Please do.
I have my house. It's already repaired. It's got a brand new, wonderful roof. The side and everything is so awesome, and you see it. Even when you're going through the troubles, oh, well, it's going to take even longer. I already see my house. You can say what you want, but I already see it. It's done. And that little bit pulls you through. So no matter what they say, it's okay because you already know in the end, it's done. I like to
Correct.
take a good book and I like to cheat. I look at the back. Do we win? Do we lose? What happens? You know, if you know the end of the story first, the story doesn't even matter. You can get
Right.
straight through it. Um, but we're at a great time. This has been a very good conversation. We've got a lot of things coming that I want to make known to people. First of all, in the description, there's a calendar that's going to show you all the different events, different things coming on. It doesn't have many things on there right now. It's just setting it up so that you can start to see things going on. Every Friday, we have a coaches connection. So please join the coaches connection. It's just where we just chit chat. No agendas, no stress, no pressure, just chilling. Okay. Make sure you come to it. It's it kind of is a reliever. Just kind of get things off your chest so that you can enjoy the weekend, so that you can enjoy the next week.
Yep.
We have a daily prayer. We have a smart connect. We have different things that are here for you. It's all about you. Um, Also, for a lot of people are with Ramsey, and a lot of people are looking for a new CRM. And because the Ramsey CRM is going away. For those people, we have an awesome CRM. Um, Mary kind of cheats a little bit She does all her posting in a couple hours for the whole entire month. Not only
Beautiful
does it
thing.
handle your clients, it handles all your marketing, your social media. It handles everything for you. It's a one-stop shop. All that's in the
And
description below. And then we are so honored that Juanita was able to talk with us. It was a very good conversation. So, Juanita, tell us a little bit about yourself.
As in life or as in a code?
As in you. How can why do I want to contact you and how would I contact you?
For sure. So you can contact me through my email. It's Juanita at rightlifesolutions.com. And then also my phone number, which is 773-848-9559. I also have a Calendly link, which I know David would be able to post later in the description. If you'd like to set up a time with me to meet and talk, and we can just be able to see where you're at. If you would like to have a conversation, like we were sharing before, we don't have to live this life alone. And being able to reach out to others for help does not mean that that's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a true sign of strength, to be able to reach out to others to say, I want to live a different life. I want things to change. And so I encourage you, please feel free, even if you just want to have an hour conversation, please feel free.
Link is in the description below. So you can already click on that link now. Um,
beautiful.
and Mary, did you have any final words?
I so enjoyed this time with you, Juanita, and your stories and your testimony, your story that turned into your testimony is not finished yet. I can't wait to see the next chapter.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate it.
for all of us, for all our viewers, I can just tell you my tagline: do the dang thing and make the change. You're gonna benefit from it. I promise.